Hi, Melissa Wick here, and welcome. I have something funky going on with my left wrist for the last few days. I can't put any weight or pressure on it, so that means no down dogs or no chatturangas, anything like that. But this has inspired me to create this class for you. So this is a wrist-free, weight-free on the hands yoga class. So make modifications as you need, take it at your own pace. Get into something comfortable. It's a full class, so let's get started. Let's get started in a seated position. So I have one heel close to my groin, one heel just in front. You are welcome to elevate your hips, seated on a bolster, a block, or maybe some pillows. And we can wiggle around and find our sweet spot here. Bring our shoulders up towards our ears and just gently roll them back, so we can keep a nice tall spine. Let our hands rest on our thighs or on our knees, or maybe just palms facing up, one on top of the other, making a little bit of this cup shape. And then we'll close our eyes or bring our eyes down towards the tip of our nose. And let's breathe in through our nose. Exhale through the mouth. Two more like that. Breathe in. Let it go. Inhale. Exhale. Allowing yourself to arrive, returning to your natural rhythm of breath. And committing here to the duration of the video, the full practice. And let's take a moment to acknowledge ourselves and how we feel in this moment without judging, without changing anything. Observe. Noticing the stillness within you, or maybe not so stillness within you. Knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. And bring your attention to your breath. And feeling the air traveling through the nostrils as you breathe in and out. Feeling the whole body be breathed. Inviting in a peaceful infusion of your breath to your body. Now we can keep our eyes closed here and just start to bring in some neck rolls. So keeping the spine tall. Maybe you start with U shapes, bringing one ear to one shoulder, one ear to the other. If you have a comfortable range here, you're welcome to bring your head all the way around in one direction in a full circle. And reverse your direction. And then from here, you're welcome to open the eyes. We're going to warm up the spine by doing some cat-cow seated. So you can take your hands, if they're not already here, onto your kneecaps. So as you inhale, you're going to press your hands into your legs and start to draw the heart forward, tilt the pelvis. Maybe you bare your throat as you inhale. Exhale, we'll round, curl the tailbone forward, draw the shoulders forward, look to your belly button. Inhale, come forward, open up the chest. Exhale, curl and round. It's okay to make that C shape with the back. Stretch the back of your neck. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, round. One more. Inhale. Exhale, round. Inhale, come to a neutral spine. We're going to switch the cross of our legs so we can even it out. So opposite heel now close to the groin. You're going to take your hands back onto your thighs. Just keep it very light and gentle. We're going to start to make circles here. So if you can't bear any weight on your hands, you can maybe just rest your forearms onto your hands. Rolling in one direction. There's no right or wrong here. So when we come back, we can round here if that feels good. And then when you come forward, you can find that opening in the chest. And then reverse the direction. Come back to neutral. We're going to inhale both hands up. Inhale. You can take your right hand to your left knee. Left hand will come back. Keep it very light. We'll twist the left. Inhale, we get tall. And then exhale, twist from the core over to the left. And if it's too much to take your hands onto the floor on your knee, you can extend your arms out with your palms facing away from you and use your core here. So your belly button is engaged. Both sit bones are on the mat. And then inhale draws you back to center, arms lift. Exhale, left hand to right knee, right hand back behind you for support. Inhale, get tall. Exhale, twist to the right. Same variation as you did on the first side, whichever one you did. And then inhale, draw it back into center, arms lift. Exhale, hands come down. And then from here, we're going to bring ourselves forward onto our knees and shins. I'm just going to show you where we're going. We're going to curl our toes underneath. You might need to take your hands and assist to get that little pinky guy in there. And then sit your heels. Sit your sit bones onto your heels. Relax your hands onto your thighs. You can roll your shoulders up and back. And then we'll start to settle into this toes pose here. You can keep your hands on your lap, or maybe if you can interlace the hands behind the back and open up the chest. If you'd like a little bit more heart opening, if it's not too much on your wrist. Stay present here. Notice if you want to come out of this shape right away. If it's too much sensation, see if you can stay with it. We're moving through it, not trying to dodge it or go around it. However, if you're feeling sharp pain, then you can come out of it and maybe come back in. But if you're just feeling discomfort, let's try to learn to stay with it. One breath at a time. One more cycle of breath. And then here, just bring your weight forward a bit, point your toes, and then just sit back onto your heels. Feel that counter stretch, and maybe you want to gently wiggle from side to side, feeling a little massage on the tops of your feet. Nice. And then from here, just lift yourself forward again, tuck your toes back under, and then maybe you can do this without your hands, but you can bring your hands down if you need more balance. You're going to come onto the balls of your feet, and then take your hands forward very gently. You're going to rest your chest onto your legs as much as you can. And bring your weight back into your heels. You can use the insides of your biceps to gently hold the legs closer together, and then release your head as much as you can. So you're going to start to feel an opening in the calves, maybe the Achilles, maybe that stretch in the back of the neck, upper spine. And then release, roll yourself up right here. You want to draw your heels and ankles together, your shins and legs together. Come on more onto the balls of the feet. So keep your ankles strong. Take your hands into prayer, nice and gently. Find something to focus on, engage your core. And then nice and slow, we're going to squeeze everything. And slowly bring ourselves up to stand. The heels lifted, and then exhale, lower the heels. Maybe you need to step up a bit on your mat and bring your feet hip width distance apart. We're going to inhale, arms are going to lift up. Exhale, we're going to fold over the hips, come all the way down. And then here we can bend the knees a lot here. So we're just opening up. You can grab opposite elbows here, or just let your backs of the hands rest on the ground. You can sway or nod, yes, no. Bend the knees a lot to release the spine. And then release your hands down to the mat very gently. You can start to lengthen the legs and take an inhale, halfway lift. So maybe you take your hands to your shins and find that flat back. So we're reaching through the sit bones and also reaching through the top of the head. Glide the shoulders down the back. Exhale, fold. Move into half sun salutations. Inhale, rise, arms lift all the way up. Exhale, hands come through to heart center. Strong legs supporting you. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, swan dive, slight bend in the knees as you fold over the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, arms lift. Moving meditation. Exhale, hands come through to heart center. Continue. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold over the hips. Use your full breath. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands come through to heart center. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, swan dive, fold over. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, arms lift. Exhale, hands come through to heart center. Release your hands down by your side. Prepare for chair pose. So inhale, you're going to sit nice and low, bend the knees, arms lift. Chair pose, thumbs back, pinkies forward. So you want to be able to see if you can see your toes. Maybe you lift them so you know the weight is in your heels. Draw your belly button in, tailbone draws forward. And then inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, hands come down and to your waist. From here, we're going to maybe walk up your mat if you're not there yet. And we're going to step our left leg back to a high lunge. So all 10 toes are facing forward to the top of your mat. Inhale, arms lift up. So you want to imagine your right heel drawing back and your left toes drawing forward. You'll feel the activation in your inner thighs. Inhale. Exhale, cactus the arms, bend the back knee, open up the chest. Maybe you lift your gaze. And then inhale, arms back up, high lunge. From here, take your left hand forward, right hand back. Your palms are facing out to the right. Twist. Core is engaged. Remember that right heel back, left toes forward. Stay with your breath. And then scoop that right hand down and forward, arms lift. Inhale. Stay for the exhale. Inhale. We're going to exhale, sweep the arms down. As you do that, bring your torso forward for airplane arms. So glide the shoulders down the back, away from the ears, squeezing the triceps. And then from here, we're going to start to bring the weight into the front foot and into warrior three. So your left hip's going to want to hike up. But you can start to just bring it right back down. It might mean you need to lower your left leg. And then from here, we're going to keep the legs straight, lift the torso. As we do that, the leg comes forward and the arms lift. Sweep your left foot through. Left foot is flexed. Arms lift. Keep that left hip down. The more you engage your left leg, the lighter it's going to feel. And then lower your left foot down, lower the hands down. Beautiful. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Heel toe your feet about as wide as the mat. Let your heels be in, toes out. Bend the knees. Squat, Malasana. So you're welcome to sit on something if you'd like. Now you're going to have your triceps or triceps towards the inside of the legs. If it's too much pressure to bring your hands together, you can just keep your hands down on the mat, on your fingertips on the ground, and try to root down and get heavy in your tailbone at the same time. Reach to the crown of the head. So making sure your knees are in line with your toes so they're not collapsing in. And then exhale, lift the sit bones up, heel toe your feet back, hip width distance apart. Inhale, hands to shin, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, arms lift up. Exhale, hands come through to heart center. Release your hands down and then bring them to your hips. And then this time we're going to step our right foot back into a step it back to high lunge. So you're on these railroad tracks, so we have more stability. This time, left heel energetically is drawing back, right toes forward. Inhale, arms lift. Now we're going to exhale. We're going to cactus the arms and bend that right knee. Maybe it kisses the ground, maybe you look up. Inhale, back to high lunge. Exhale. And from here, we're going to twist. Right arm's going to come forward. Left arm's going to reach back. Palms are flipping out to the left. Maybe you look back to your left hand. Keep that back leg powered up. Always the option to bring your right knee down. On your next inhale, let your left hand swoop down and then bring both arms up for high lunge. Inhale in. As you exhale, you're going to bring your arms into airplane. Your torso is going to hinge forward. And then maybe you readjust and slide the shoulders down the back. Squeeze the triceps, palms face down. Look at something in front of you, the ground. And then we're going to start to bring our weight to our left foot. Lengthen the left leg, toes face down, your right toes down for warrior three. Keep that right hip down. From here, nice and slow, we're going to start to lift the torso, and like a pendulum, that right leg's going to come up with you. Arms lift as you pass through the center, right foot lifts. Belly engaged, right hip stays down. Thumbs back, pinkies forward, shoulders out of the ears. And then release, arms and leg come down. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. And then exhale, hands come down. Now from here, we're going to step our left foot back into warrior two. So big step back. You're going to have your left toes turning out. The back edge of your left foot is parallel to the back of your mat. Your right toes forward. Bend your right knee. Left leg stays lengthened. So you want to have your knee in line with your second and third toe. Arms extend. Look beyond your right middle finger. Your tailbone's rooted, and at the same time, we're lifting to the top of the head. Now, from here, we're going to make fists with our hands, thumbs on the outside, and then just bend your left elbow, take your hands forward. Your hips will naturally start to draw a little bit forward to the top of the mat. Now, we're going to move like we're shooting a bow and arrow, moving with intention. So your right arm's going to stay there. You're going to inhale, and you're going to pull that left hand back. Keep the chest nice and open, your gaze beyond your right fist, and then exhale, bring it back to meet the right. We'll flow like that. So inhale, move with intention as if there's resistance. Squeeze the fists, and then exhale, bring the left hand back to the right. Inhale. Don't forget about your legs. Right leg is bent. Exhale, bring it forward. And then release the palms. Come back to your warrior two. Reverse your warrior. So left hand comes back gently. Right arm lifts. Exhale, warrior two. Through to extended side angle. Right forearm to right thigh. Left arm reaches up to the ceiling. Try not to dump all your weight into your right forearm. Try to stay lifted. Shoulders out of the ears. Inhale, warrior two. Lengthen the right leg and start to reach forward for triangle pose. Your right side of the ribs stay lifted. And then exhale, right hand just very gently on your right shin, maybe back of the right hand to the inside of the right thigh, or maybe to the ground or to a block. Left hand towards the ceiling, and then whatever's comfortable for your neck. And then use your core here to lift you up back to a standing triangle. Take your hands to your hips. Your right toes are going to come over to the left, so both toes are on the side edge of your mat. Heels slightly out. We're going to inhale, get nice and tall, and then as we exhale, we're going to hinge fold over the hips, and then release. You can take your hands down very gently to the ground or to blocks. Release your head. Hands are shoulder width distance apart. You're welcome to take your hands behind you and interlace them and start to open up through the shoulders if it's comfortable for your wrists. It's not so comfortable for me today. So you want to imagine as if you're gently ripping the mat apart with your feet. So it keeps your legs engaged, drawing the tops of the thighs back in space. And then from here, if your hands are interlaced, just gently release them down. We're going to inhale, halfway lift, fingertips on the mat. And then from here, just exhale, walk your hands forward as if you are in this modified wide-legged down dog. So most of your weight is in your heels. So we're not pressing any weight on our hands. Just leaning back here. And then from here, take your hands to your hips. Use the power of your legs. And then inhale with a flat back all the way up. Now we're going to have our heels face in and our toes face out. Inhale, arms lift. And then exhale, take your hands out to a T, bend the knees. So you want to have your knees drawing towards the toes, so your tailbone's drawing forward. Activate the outer thighs and the glutes. And then inhale, straighten the legs and the arms. And this time, cactus the arms, bend the knees, so bend the elbows. Goddess pose. Slight tone in the belly. So here, we're going to stay here with the knees bent And just lift your right heel up. Keep your ankle strong. Knees bent, release the right heel. Left heel lifts. Strong ankle. Release. Right heel lifts. Release. Left heel lifts. Release. Maybe you try both. Keep the ankles nice and strong. Find something to look at that's not moving. Keep the glutes engaged. Release both heels. Inhale, arms and legs lengthen. And exhale, take your hands back to your hips. So we're going to step back to the top of the mat. And then let's do the other side. So now we're going to step back with our right foot and find warrior two on the left side. So your right edge of the foot is now parallel to the back of the mat. Bend that left knee. Can you see your left big toe when you look down? Extend the arms. Look past your left fingers. Now we're going to do that bow and arrow move, which I just love the focus behind this flow sequence. So you're going to make fists, thumbs on the outside. Take your right fist to meet beside the left. So your torso is going to face forward here. So as we inhale, your left hand's going to stay. And we're going to start to bend that right elbow, like almost like gliding it across your body. Look beyond your left fist. And then exhale, bring that right hand back. Inhale, feel the resistance, open it up. Exhale, draw it back. Inhale, resist, open up. Exhale, bring it back. Release the hands, take your hands back to warrior two, and then inhale, reverse your warrior. Your left leg stays nice and bent. And then exhale, extended side angle, left forearm to left thigh, right arm reaches up and over, or maybe just towards the ceiling. Try not to dump the weight into your left elbow. And from here, come back to warrior two, lengthen the left leg, start to reach forward past your left fingertips, past your left hip, triangle pose. Right arm towards the ceiling, left hand to the ground or lightly onto your shin, or the back of your left hand to the inside of the left shin. And then use your core with control. Bring yourself back up here. We're just going to take our hands to our hips and then step yourself forward. Back to the top of your mat. So from here, we're just going to inhale. Arms are going to lift up. Exhale, fold over your hips. And then from here, come onto the balls of your feet. Bend the knees. Nice and controlled. Bring your sit bones down. Relax the heels, and let's come right into boat pose. So bringing a little bit of weight, a little bit back on your sit bones, ankles, shins, knees together. You can keep your toes on the ground, maybe they just lift, or maybe you have your shins parallel to the top of the wall, the ceiling, and then maybe your hands open up, palms face up. Boat pose, Navasana. So try to keep your heart opened as if it's lifting, and then find something to focus on in front of you. Squeeze the legs together. Relax the shoulders out of the ears. And then let's flow here and work the core. So as we inhale, we're going to lean back, lengthen the legs so our toes are kind of in line with our eyes. And then bring yourself back up to boat pose. Inhale, extend. Exhale, come back. Inhale, extend. Exhale, boat. Inhale, extend. Exhale, boat. Stay lifted. Inhale, extend. Exhale, boat. Inhale, last one, extend. Exhale, boat. Cross your ankles and then just come forward. Shimmy your way back. And then from here, we're going to plant our forearms down into Sphinx pose. So we're coming onto our bellies. You can keep your feet hip width distance apart, pointing your toes, hands flat. So you're making like the number 11. Your elbows are a little bit forward than your shoulders, and then it's better to be here than back here. And then there, maybe you shimmy your way a little bit forward so your elbows are under your shoulders. So we're pressing our forearms into the mat. Try not to dump your weight into your shoulders. So with that gentle pressure into the mat, we can keep a nice lift. So here, maybe we just close our eyes here. If you're feeling any pinching in your low back, you can start to curl your tailbone forward and use as if you're zipping up a pair of pants. You're drawing your belly button down towards your heels. And that'll help you kind of protect your low back. Or you always have the option of bringing your elbows out and then finding your Sphinx pose in this shape. It is so good for our lower backs. If you can do this one every day, this would be very beneficial. So we'll just take 2 more breaths here. And then let's just release. Take your right ear down to the mat. Take your arms down by your side. And let that go. Let's do one more core position. So we're going to take our hands back as if we were in Sphinx. And then we're going to tuck our toes underneath. And from here, fire it up. So your belly button is drawing to the back of your spine. Maybe you adjust your toes. Plant your hands down. Belly button is drawing back. Super important that we're not letting our hips drop below and we're not way up here. So you want to find that sweet spot in the middle. And then try not to dump in your shoulders. So push your forearms into the mat. Legs engaged. Just look down right between your hands here. If you're shaking like me, that's great. Getting stronger. One more breath. And then bring your knees down to the mat, child's pose. So knees wide, toes touching. Release forehead. Let your arms relax. And then slowly roll yourself upright and just swing your legs forward. We're going to come into a seated forward fold. So extending the legs, you're welcome to prop your sit bones up for a little more height. Gently remove the flesh so it'll help us in our fold. And we get more of the lengthening in the back of the legs. So toes come towards the face. This might be enough for you right here. You're welcome to use a strap here if you have one. And now try to think of your low back length. Keep it long so we're not crunching, because that way we're just kind of stretching the low back. We want to come into the hamstrings here. So inhale, arms lift up. And then exhale, start to hinge and fold forward. Now this might be as far as you go. Keep drawing the backs of the legs down into the mat. We're keeping a long spine first here. Great option here to use straps. And then from here we can slowly start to fold here and lower. So we're not pulling on our legs. We're just allowing the gravity to do the work here. You can start to release the head. Just take 2 more cycles of breath. Slowly roll yourself back up. And we're going to bring the soles of our feet to touch, heels closer to the groin here for Baddha Konasana. Then you can take your hands to the outside of the foot, thumbs to the inside, and then wiggle here to find your sit bones connected to the mat. And then here we can start to draw the chest forward so we can find that length once again. And then maybe here you can start to bring your elbows to gently press the inner legs away. And then maybe you want to just have your hands on your ankles or hands in front of you on the mat. And then from here we slowly start to fold and release. One more cycle of breath. Inhale, roll yourself up. Now we're going to come into a nice hip stretch. So stacked fire logs, we're going to take our left shin, draw it parallel to the top of your mat. Your left ankle is flexed. So it's nice and parallel. And then you're going to take your right foot, both feet are flexed, and you're going to stack your right shin on top of the left. Now this, it might look like this. You might have a huge gap. You can take a pillow or books if you want to fill the gap, or blocks, or you can just let it float. And here you can either just keep your left hand on your foot, right hand on the knee if you like to have that contact. Maybe you take your fingertips to the ground. If you have the openness, then maybe you'll start to walk your hands forward for a fold. So our bodies will naturally start to unfurl. We just have to give it that chance. So from here, we can close the eyes, we can soften the shoulders. Playing around with our edge here, so we don't want to go too far to the point where we can't breathe freely. So with every exhale, try to loosen the grip anywhere that you may be holding on to. And then we'll take 3 more cycles of breath here. And then we'll slowly release. And then maybe in between the sides, you want to just windshield wiper your legs from side to side. Just bring in some movement. A bit of that counter stretch. And then other side. So now our right shin bone is going to come parallel to the top of the mat. And then our left shin is going to stack over the right leg. Both feet are flexed. One side might feel totally different than the other side. It's okay if it's not perfectly aligned. And then find your spot with your hands. Maybe right hand to your left foot, left hand to your left knee, hands by your side, or maybe you can find the fold. Honor wherever you're at. Closing the eyes and allow yourself to go inward. And a lot of times when we get into these shapes, we want to get out of them because they're uncomfortable. So I invite you to explore that within you if you feel you want to run away from this pose. And just see what happens when you stay and when you soften into it. Take 3 more cycles of breath. And then slowly unwind. Extend your feet out in front of you. Keep your knees bent. We're going to roll onto our backs. You're going to bring your feet as wide as the mat and let your knees fall in to touch. You can take your hands on your belly. Constructive rest here. Maybe you close your eyes, tune into your breathing. And then release your hands down. Heel toe your feet back hip width distance apart. Draw your heels closer to your glutes. And then you can just keep your hands flat on the mat for this bridge pose here. So inhale, press your feet into the mat, lift the hips up. So you're drawing your tailbone down towards your knees, so you're finding length. And then as you exhale, slowly release. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Take your hands just below the kneecaps. Maybe you interlace them or just hold each leg. Open up your arms into a T with your palms facing up. And then we can draw our knees over our hips. And then bring your knees over to the left for a twist. You can take your left hand to hold the right thigh as you release your head to the right side. Breathing in space into your spine, your low back, your chest. And then inhale your way through center, knees over to the right, gaze over to the left. Maybe you take your right hand to hold your left thighs, just to help release the low back and the spine. And inhale your way into center. Let's come into Shavasana. So extend your legs out long, maybe as wide as the mat. Get your shimmies and wiggles out. Get comfortable. Take one big breath in through your nose. Exhale it out through your mouth. And relax any effort in your breath. Closing the eyes, and there's nothing left for you to do. but to receive the effects of your practice. Think heavy, heavy bones. And allowing the ground to completely support your weight. And letting the energy within you organize itself into balance and harmony and coherence as you receive. And we'll stay in Shavasana together. Noticing what it feels like to be at home in the center of your own being. And know that you always, always have access to this. And slowly start to deepen your breath. Letting your breath stretch you from the inside out. Inviting in some movement, wiggling your fingers and toes. And bringing your arms up overhead for a nice big stretch. Gently stirring your body into wakefulness. And draw your knees in for a hug. And then rolling over off to one side, any side that you like, using your bottom hand, your bottom bicep to support your ear as you rest your head. And just tuning into gratitude for practice, for showing up, for staying through the duration of the class. And gratitude for all that our bodies do for us unconditionally every day. And so we'll use our top hand to bring us back up to a seated position, just like the way we started. And let's bring our hands into heart center. Closing the eyes, find that tall spine. Take this moment here to enjoy your own presence and your own breath. And noticing how you feel after full practice. And I invite you to take this feeling and carry it with you into your day, maybe into your evening, and spread it to all those around you. And thank you so much for your trust. From my heart to yours, namaste.